Yeah.
And there's some people would come and hear the Allan Holdsworth shows, back in the day, and I was accused of what do you call when you try to destroy something purposely. I was accused of sort of being detrimental to that music by simply the spirit and the often the volume
Really?
but I think
Wow.
people were hearing was just an intense expression.
Yeah.
But to me, it was like, but this is what I understood from when I listened to Coltrane and Elvin, and when I listened to Miles and Tony Williams, and John and Billy Cobham.
Exactly. Yeah.
So what's the big deal? I don't get it. But I mean, for those who sort of did get it, it was okay. But there was a lot of resistance to maybe sort of playing with such a strong motive and being. It's too overbearing for people. But there, for me, it was totally for the music all the time.
Yeah.
And Alan, all he wanted was propulsion and constant improvisational movement. He wanted activity, ever-changing activity all the time.
Yeah.
And that's what he demanded. I mean, the moment anybody fell into a backbeat, it was a big no-no. No, break it up, play with me. Take me on a ride, and he loved that.
Did you guys like when he presented like a new tune? How was the process there? Did you have like a carte blanche for drums that like, or
Absolutely, yeah. And I did a video cast, one of my own video casts, especially on that, and
oh
I
shit, I
tried
have
to
to
sort
check it out. Okay.
of. I'll send you a link.
Oh please, yeah.
Create a thing for you to have it, but it's motivational, I hope, more than educational in a way. But it's also educational and insightful into a union of the particular way we worked, which was highly unconventional. I do realize that, but he would come being the completely reluctant band leader he was, and he'd say, "I've got this thing that kind of falls here, and it does this, and then, or it goes round and round here, and So there you go." I go, okay, so what am I going to do? So he'd give me a recording of it, and and I'd spend, because we had very little time to record those records that we did, and I just disappear for the night, and maybe spend, depending on how jet lagged I was,
Sure.
spend a night just living with this composition and coming up with letting intuition suggest to me what I could do that might be that might really set it up in interesting ways. So and really take note of the whole form and how to present it. So the fact, he allowed me to take extreme liberties in that music, not only in the way that I'd approach it, but formically too. He let me kind of introduce things in a way and play up ahead of things, and also finish them. He quite liked that when the drums were kind of furious and raging and finished the tune. And I know he really liked that. And so because I wanted to please him and stimulate him, keyword, I wanted him to remain stimulated and excited by what was going on. That was my motivation to really just get creative, because that's what he kind of asked me to do. And he had no idea. Well, it's kind of split between the fact he had no real fixed idea of what he wanted from drums, and paralleling that, he wanted the musician to really find their own expression in it. So for drums, that was a big opportunity, and I grabbed it.
Yeah.
For better or worse.
No. Oh, for the best. Actually, it's like, come on, it's some of the best stuff out there. At least for me, it's like.
Well, it was our little, the little contribution, I guess, we in a corner of jazz rock somewhere. We're there.
Man, just yeah. I mean, was like already the first rehearsal like that with you guys, or the first gig that, like, almost no talking, that he just like.
Oh yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. It really was like that. Yeah. We just got into a room, and he'd heard me play somewhere, and he said, "Oh, I don't suppose you fancy having to play, do you?" Yeah, no. So I said, "Of course, just name the place and the date, and I'll be there." And we did, but in setting up, I found out there were lots of other musicians at the studio, and we were all supposed to have this big giant jam. But it became clear to me that, and him, that everybody else at some point had packed up their instruments and left and given up, because I was just trying to get this connection with him and just working at it, and it was just going round and round, just totally free of form, just playing off it. And I remember it was like waking up out of some kind of mysterious, sublime dream. At not only the experience was presented itself like that, but it was also it showed me kind of a way of going that I didn't even know existed within myself. So I mean, this was just hugely monumental experience to me, and say eye-opening, spirit-opening as an understatement. So it really was like that, and it just sort of continued to be. I'm very lucky.
And you were 18, right, when this happened, or like really young, or?
I was into 18 when we.
Man, that's incredible. That's incredible.
In actual fact, Hansford Rowe from the group Gong managed to find a cassette he had of a demo of the things you see, and because it's just like a great stocking filler in a way. I mean, it's the sound quality is pretty inferior, and it was never mixed, but it was a demo, and it was at that point in time, because I recognize his gear, the sound of his gear, and I recognize which kit I had and which cymbals I had, and I know that was like really, really close to the beginning. And we're going to release that on a. I'm putting a compilation together called Postcards from the Past, and
fantastic.
That's going to be on there. It's a nice stocking filler for that record, and an interesting document, because despite its inferiority as sonically, it just represents how really it was right at the beginning. So it's nice, nice to find that.
Yeah.